What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Today, listen, a lot of you aren't going to like this. And I get it. I am not a big fan of these types of products. This is something I've talked about before on live streams and stuff and kind of, touched on it in different videos here and there, but never really done a full-blown chat about it. And this particular Facebook post in the Sports Card Nonsense group just kind of brought it back to the forefront again, so I thought it was worth chatting about. Like I said, I don't think a lot of you really want to hear this, but repacks are, I dare say, the lifeblood of the hobby. They're the lifeblood of the ecosystem. They really are. Maybe I overrate this to a degree, but I'm just going off of what I hear, see, and experience in my own personal observations, walking shows, talking to people that run shows, talking to people that set up at shows, so on and so forth. Repacks are so important to the hobby ecosystem. I don't like them. I've never bought one. I've never participated with one. It's not my thing. That can be true. It can also be true that I understand how important that they are. Now, are a lot of them done incorrectly? Are a lot of them done shady? Is there a lot of nonsense that happens with them? All of those things are 100% true. I don't know. Are they good or bad for the hobby? Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. On the bad, I mean, once again, we just hinted at it. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on with them. 1,000%. 1,000%. Are there air quote good ones? Sure. There probably are. I would side-eye the best of them. The only one that I have ever considered buying that was a repack was the ones that Patrick Ryan put out. The P. Ryan packs that he puts out are very, very cool. There's some cool cards in those. They're unique. It's not just like, the thing that he does is, it's not just a Lucas Silver, whatever, swirly pixie dust ball. It's on card, in-person autos, but he does a really good job in his collection of curating cards that make sense to have an in-person auto on. They're not random. He just does a nice job at presenting his stuff. That's the only one I've even remotely ever went, you know what, if I was going to buy in the one, it would be this one. It's his. But I've still never even pulled the trigger on that. So there is a lot of shady nonsense that goes on with them, yes. But on the flip side, and I know, Dustin and I used to go back and forth sports card dad on this all the time. He didn't necessarily believe me on how important these things were. And then I think it was the National that opened his eyes to this. Repacks keep the money moving in the hobby. They really do. They inject a lot of liquidity all around. All around. One, they, as this Facebook post comments, they pay fair and they pay strong. A lot of repackers buy at 80, 85% of comps for the right cards. And it's just no questions asked. Hey, cool. Yep. If it's cool stuff, yep. 85%. 80%. 85% cash at a show is, I'll take that all day, every day. Listen, I'm going to sell on eBay. I'm going to lose 15% right off the get and a whole bunch of monkeying around, worrying about shipping. Are they going to try to return it? This, that, or the other thing. So just the fact that I avoid, even if I'm giving up a few percentage points, I avoid all the shipping nonsense, customer returns, something got broke, not expected, just all the hassles that come with online selling, as smooth and easy as it is in 98%. Just eliminating that little bit of headache, I'll gladly give up a couple percentage points from that. Plus, I'm getting cash in hand to immediately go put into play at the show that I am at. So they are an outlet for people to get rid of cards that they no longer want to own, to go buy cards that they do want to own, or maybe just cash out. Maybe people just want to cash out, but some of that money, you know, if someone goes up to a repacker and cashes out $1,000 worth of slabs, maybe they're going to hold some of that back, but I am willing to bet some of that money is walking back around that room and getting spent at a dealer table. So they add a lot of liquidity to the marketplace for a random person. I'm not talking about a dealer, just a guy walking around that wants to unload some stuff. On the flip side, they also offer liquidity to the dealers. You know, this person comments here about them injecting $100,000 into the room. I've never seen it to that degree, but I know for a fact, Shipshawana, at my local shows, there are repack buyers that go around. That's how big these enterprises are. They actually hire someone to go around and buy cards for them because they can't be bothered with it. They have an employee that literally goes to card shows and just spends money. That is their job. Those people, when they walk around a show, one or two of those people in a room can make the show for a lot of dealers. One guy walking around that, you know, looks through your stuff. Hey, cool. 80%. Here's $5,000. I want this stack of stuff. That could make or break a weekend for a dealer. And it's a no fuss transaction. They're buying a large quantity, typically. One big, large bulk deal. None of the whole back and forth. I mean, we all stood at a table and watched the transaction go down. Oh, that's a $500 card. Well, you see here, eBay last three comps are $375, $395, and $450. So, like, you know, best I could do is like $150. Need room, bro. Would you rather have 30 of those transactions or one of someone walking up and going, yeah, I'll take that 2-row for 80% of what you got it stickered at, or 80% comps. You got it at 10. You got it at 10K for this lot of cards I put together. I'll do 8 cash right now. Like, duh. Which one of those two are you going to take? So there is a large dealer component here as well. These, like I said, my local Hartville show. There's some repack buyers that come in. They'll drop 3, 4, 5K at an individual table. At a small show like that, that is a lot of money floating around. I know, once again, Shipshawana, some big buyers go to that show. They'll spend tens of thousands of dollars buying for repacks. That is a ton of money that's injected into the room. Because then what is the next step of that? The dealer, that, you know, we'll use the previous example. Guy walks up, you got 10K in slabs, I'll offer you 8,000 for him. Cool, done, transaction done. Now that dealer has 8K in his pocket. Guess what that dealer needs? He needs inventory. So now when little Johnny walks up with a Zion case and goes, hey, you buying? The dealer is going to be like, yeah, I am. I need cards for my showcase. So now that is injecting more money back into the ecosystem. Once again, maybe it doesn't all get spent at the show or at that individual table, but you see how this whole thing moves the money around. And that is very important. You need those transactions for that liquidity to keep things shuffling around. And we always talk about it. I've done videos on this, the ecosystem. Some little, the unconnected parts to this whole big circle. Something happens up the stream. You might think, oh, that doesn't affect me at all. That's completely unrelated. They're doing some nonsense with breakers, whatever. I don't care about that. Oh, they're regulating repacks or they're banning whatever. That doesn't affect me. I don't buy and sell to repacks. Whatever. That doesn't bother me at all. Guess what? It does. I've always made the statement, and I don't think that this would ever happen. If regulation ever comes and they somehow, if you ever hear of Whatnot, Fanatics Live, any of these places, ban the sell of repacks, in my opinion, and once again, maybe I'm overvaluing this, curious for your thoughts and comments, that's the thing I think that could tumble the house of cards. Maybe I'm putting too much stock, too much weight into this, but I firmly believe that liquidity that gets injected into the market from repacks, though as shady as they could be sometimes, once again, not all of them. I'm sure there's some air quotes good ones out there. There's good ways to do them, bad ways to do them. But that liquidity that those things inject into the marketplace and keep the money moving around is extremely important, especially in this more down style environment where a lot of people aren't buying and selling dealer to dealer, person to person anymore. You need something to grease the skids, and that is what they are doing. Curious for your thoughts and comments. As always, we will catch you on the next one. Peace.